Hi student, today I present with you the chapter Basic Design and Special Relationship. This chapter I prepare for the class by myself, so that's why I combine all of the book I read already and my experience. I prepare for you this lecture. So if you open the book, it's not inside from the book, it's from myself. And I post in Canvas files, and also this one I record and to post it on Happy Life True Life YouTube, so you can easy to open either one of them to go over with the chapter. So the chapter said the basic design and special relationship. I cover few of the main thing before you start with design and how can they relationship together with this point. So I think this is very important for architecture major student, and if you are not in the major, this is some of the knowledge, very basic one you should know before you start to design any projects. I think it's with my student in architecture major, I ask them a lot of things before they start to design. However, with the student not the major, I hope that you enjoy the lecture, look like you learn some more knowledge. And I think that all of you need the basic knowledge before you start to design later. Even you're not architecture student, but you still need the house, you still need the studio, and something you can enjoy your life. So that's why you know something about the design is better than nothing. So I hope that you enjoy the chapter reading, and always I just friendly remind that each of lecture I have the review question, the reading question. You must answer this question, all of the question, and email to me before the due date. I post it on schedule or in the weekend of that day. So I hope that's the easy for you to follow the lecture, to answer my question, and to get the credit for the class. In this class, beside of the quiz, we have 3 quiz, multiple choice, and 1 final. We have 1 presentation. So I welcome for any of you. If you have the question, just email me and I will show you how to do presentation, or you have any question regard with the class, just email me. I just want to make sure that because the email from the student to email back to me sometimes got the problem. I don't know why, but the best way you start to send me the email is from Canvas, because the Canvas is the one for all of the student and teacher communicate together. So I hope that you use the Canvas, open the Canvas inbox, and after that email for me. Okay. So this chapter I have, like similar with another chapter, I have the review question. After you finish everything, you need to go over with the question like this and you answer. After that you email me before due date or on the weekend from that lecture day. So now I go with the chapter. The first one, you need to know about design elements. We have 6 components which used to creation for design. So I hope that you remember, because it's just 6 of them. The first one is line, second one is shape or form, third one is color, space, texture, and value. So this is the main elements. Before you start to design, you need to thinking about that. Line, number 1. We have many different kind of line. For example, you have vertical line, you have horizontal line, you have diagonal line, and the curved line. So all of these line you need to use when you design. We go with the first one. Vertical line is usually represent for dignity, formality, stability, and the strain. So the vertical line for on of design, you want to show the stability, you want to show the strain from the building or formality, and you use the vertical line. That means you have the purpose in design before you use the line to describe, to explain your idea. Okay, how about horizontal line? Horizontal line, they used to use for the calm, the peace and relaxation. So if you plan to design something very peaceful, very relaxable and calm, and you need to go with the horizontal line. Okay, I will give you some example later, but now just definition, so you need to know about that. Diagonal line. Diagonal is represent for the action, activity, excitement, and movement. If you plan to design some projects, it carry a lot of action, a lot of assignment or movement in there, and you use the diagonal line in your projects. And finally, the curve. The curve represents for the natural, the freedom, the appearance of the softness, and creates the soothing feeling or the mood. So that's why if you plan to create some idea, very freedom, softness or natural, and you're thinking about the curved one. Of course, one project you can combine many different lines together. For example, you can use vertical line, horizontal line, diagonal line of the curved line in one project. However, what's your idea? Focus on the best one or the main point from the projects, and you will go with the line that share with us more than the other line. Okay, so that's the line. The second one, the shapes. We see on the building, you can see a lot of different kind of shape. And how do you know about the shape? The shape is define a two or more dimensional area and stand out from the space next to or around it due to define, imply the boundary, or because the value, the color, or the texture. So that means the shape is something they combine two or more different areas together, and they around that and define that by the boundary, and you have the shape. So it can be the value, the color, the texture, they combine together for two or three different up and combine together, and the boundary outside, you call that the shape one. Okay, so all of the project are composed with the shape, and all the elements of design are shaped in some way. That means that all of the project you need to thinking about the shape for that projects. For example, the building, you need to see the building tall, the building high, the shape one is diagonal, the curve, the cube, or something like this. So basically you need to combine two or more ideas to finish the shape from the building. Okay, that's number two. I give you some example for you can see the difference about the line when you use it. For example, this is the Brandenburg Gate from Berlin. You see that this show very high at Spain, and you look at the people look like this, right? So it's go straight up to the sky, and this is very big one area. It shows some kind like the formality, you use the vertical line, so you go back with the vertical line that show like the stability, the strain from the country. So that's why you can see that they have very high one. You look at the scale, this the people around here, and it's very high one to show the stability, the strain from that region. And the second example, you can see the Empire State Building. You look at that, it's so tall, it's so straight up to the sky. And the other one on the Madrid, Spain, you can see the skyscraper, the name, and you can see that it's very high one. This shows stability, the strain from the business one on the projects. So this is the example from the vertical line. This is some kind like explained in horizontal line, and you go back with this one horizontal line that present the calm, the peace, relaxation. So a loss of religious building or model they use for the horizontal line. It expands in the horizontal. It feels very relaxed. It feels some peaceful and some calm for the projects. This is one of the temple in Japan. You also see that on the church. This is a community Christian church in Kansas City. And you see that they're not really high, but they expand horizontal for make relaxation in that area. That's the purpose in the element when design. Another example you can see that is they create from diagonal. They show some very activity, show some kind of movement from the periods. And that's one they create for diagonal line in design. And this one in Australia, you know, that's Opera House. And you can see that they have a lot of curve combined together. And the curve make sure that it's so some kind. You can see the curve. They represent the nature, the freedom, and the softness. So relate for the natural. So if you see the projects on Opera House in Australia, you can see that it looks like very close with the shell, right? And it's look like combined together. And if you look at the bridge behind of that, it's also the curve. Even they do the cable, but it's the shape. It look like the curve. So one more time, this is some of the examples, so you can see the different line element when they start to design. So remember, we have basically four of them: vertical line, horizontal line, diagonal line, and the last one is the curved one. That is few examples, so you can see more about that. This is the other side from the Opera House. If you look at this, in the restaurant, they do the wall in the curved shape around the beach. And you see that a lot of people go to the Opera House and after that go back to the restaurant. So basically, any design in architecture, if you see they create some kind of the curve, it makes you very easy to look at this. That means you accept that. And this is one of the point for a lot of the project. They add the curve in their design. Okay. So basically, and okay, this is a picture from my family, my daddy, my husband, and my boys when they're young. When they, I think he's 4 years old, and this guy is 6 years old at that time. And we traveled there. After that, when my daddy back to the U.S., he passed away like 3 days. He have 20 days travel to Australia and go back home just 2 days and pass away in the hospital. So we have some memorial with him in Australia. Okay, go back with the lecture. We have more shape. For example, we call that mechanical shape or organic shape. Mechanical shape, that means the shape they draw using the rulers or the canvas. And mechanical shape, whether simple or complex, but it's filling to control the order. The organic shape is a freehand draw shape that are complex and normally found in the nature. So both of them are different. The one in the nature you call that organic shape, and the other one you use a lot of technology and you call that mechanical shape. Number 3 is the form. Form may be described in many three-dimensional projects. If you see some projects, you can see the height, the wide, and the depth. From that one, you can see that's the form, and it combined to three-dimensional projects. Form can be measured from top to the bottom, so you get the height. From side to side, to get the width, and after that, from back to the front, you get the depth. So form is also defined by the light and the dark. Because it is three-dimensional, so that's why we can get lights from one of shape, and after that, in the other side, it can be high. So that's why you have the light and the dark, or the bright and not bright. So it can define like that, and it makes the shadow in the surface from the projects. So there are two types from the form: geometric and the natural shape. Geometric, you make by hand, and the organic form from the natural. From many created by the combine of 2 or 3 shapes, and it may be enhanced by tone, texture, and the color. So basically the shape, if you have 2 or more shapes, you can create the form. And the form, you can get the light and the dark, or some kind, we call that the shadow in architecture. Okay. Next one is the color. So the color is very, very important in design. Basically, you didn't see a lot in architecture design, but we see a lot in interior design. The color, it makes many different value for the projects. So now in the color, you can play the large role in the elements to design with the color. With the color basic right here, you can mix and you can do for different one for mix it match with the one you would like to design in your projects. About the use from the color can be add organization, so develop the color strategy and stay consistent with this color. So we have many levels from the color, but the value from the color, but you can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 main color. This is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. After that, you can mix between them so you can get another color. And after that, you can add more white color or the black color, and you have more different color. So that's why the mixing color, it makes interesting, and it can be changed the value for the projects. That's the color. Texture. Many different ways to understand the texture, but the way for the surface feel and the perceived to the feel, texture can be add or attract or repel to an element, depending on the pleasantness of the texture. So the type from the texture, we have 2 different ones. We call that the tactile texture, and the second one is visual texture. Visual texture, that means the texture in the surface, a peak of the valley, a little tree picture. Any texture show the photo visual texture, mean the paper in the smooth, and no matter how it's rough or image perceive it too. That's visual. But the tactile texture is the actual 3-dimensional feel from the surface. You can be touched and you can see the difference from that one. So basically, visual texture can be seen, but you cannot touch, and you don't know what the real one from that one. But the tactile is the one you can touch, and you can know what is the difference between the smooth and the rough from that one. So we have 2 different ones for the texture. This is one example. If you see on the picture, you see the skin from the peel from the tree, but you look at this, it's so raw. But in the picture, you cannot feel how much is it, and you don't know. You just think this, when you see that, you can see that the visual one, and you just see it plain like this. For example, this one, same thing. If you see on the picture, you just feel like it look like you don't know how much is the roughness from this one. Sorry. But in the real one, you can touch that, and that's one you can add the tactile texture. You can touch and you can see how much swollen, how much deepness from everything from the texture. So now we go with the second main thing in design. We call that the principle from design. And the principle from design, we have the main object. When you use it, the principle from design, the government relationship, you need to govern the relationship between the elements of design in the building for make sure we have very good projects. The building is the one, not only the structure composed of the repeat element, line, shape, texture, so on, but it also exhibits from the thoughtful use of these elements according to how much you use for the principle from design. So beside of the element, you need to know how to use the principle from design. And when you use the principle from design, you can be able to create the meaningful from building in the unit architecture composition. This principle of design can be the pattern, the rim, the balance, the contrast, the scale, proportion, variation, variety, harmony, and more. So that's why the principle of design you need to learn from. Some example, you see that's the building, but they show with the art, meaning they design one of piano and the guitar, and both of them use the glass material in the window. And if you look at this, you can see that this is the architecture projects, but they combine the meaningful from art inside here, and they design from this one. So we go with the basic in design. We need to go to principle from design. So the first one, you learn about pattern and the rim. The one you use in the projects can be the rim, and it defined as the regular repetition of patterns. You use the pattern many times. You repeat that's one many times, and you can use that one look like the rim. Repeat many times. So the regular pattern, you use the same from repetition from the column or the window, and you repeat many times. That's one, and you call that's the regular. The irregular one is the one you can be see a repetition of the matte box. So the regular is just the column, the window you repeat many times in design. Irregular pattern or the rim you can be seen on repetition of matte box. I give you a few examples from the pattern. This is the one in the column from the project. You see that they use many columns in front of the house, and they repeat that. Or the window, they repeat it the same size, same style, many in the projects. And this one you call that the regular pattern. Now, the irregular one is the one they combine the box together. If you look at the city apartment, and they combine many boxes together when they design. Look like the box to combine together in design. This one you call that irregular pattern. That example from irregular pattern. So now we need to run with unity in variety. A work of architecture has unity when its elements are used and grouped together in logical manner. So when all elements are agreement, a design is considered a unified. So unity in variety, that means you combine everything, consider like they are unified. And no individual part is viewed as more important than the whole design. When you look at the design, you look at whole thing, and they combine many different parts together, but when you view whole thing look like the unit one. So that's why the unity in variety. In architecture, a good balance between the unity and variety must be established, and to avoid the childish for the liveness design. Number 3, from the principle design, you need to carry about the scale and proportion. A lot of design they use proportion, like the relationship between two things or different size in design. And the proportional is used to describe a relationship between the size from the space and the mass from the size of the human body. So that's why they use the scale regard with the human bodies. If they want to design something, they use that the standard for human body, because later human use for that project, so they use that one for the size from human. I give you one example so you can see the design one from the balance. If you look at this, both sides it's very similar. And this is the balance in design, and the other side. This is different building, but whole of unity. They have very high building up to the sky. Even they do different shape. However, all of them can combine, look like from units in the variety. Okay, so in this case, we can see some building. They design out for proportion for the human scale in order to emphasize for the things in architecture idea. For example, when you design from the tower or cathedral, it makes the people feel quite insignificant comparison to the remarkable power you want to share with another people about the power from that tower or cathedral. So it's so high and so unique. Architect also design space with the different scale in the order to create dynamic movement through the space. More example for you can see some of this one is the Lotus Temple in India, and you look at this, it's so balanced. If you look at any side, it look like left and right is similar. And this one cathedral, and you can see that even they have two tower and the vault in the center, but both of them is similar. And this is balance in design. This is share with you about the unity in design. Okay, this is different design in European and Asian, and I just let you know that even the style is different design, but they combine all of the basic elements to share with you for diagonal, for vertical, for horizontal, combined together in one project. This is another one in design from Asian one, and this is Japanese style. The style for the Japanese, they like to do the landscape outside more than the main building, and they usually use many level up to the house with the gate outside, come inside to the entrance, and after that the house is flat, not really high. If they have the residential and they do design like this, it is style from Japanese one. So now we go with the new one, with the balance, symmetrics and asymmetrics in design. A lot of people like to design for the balance for symmetrics. That means left and right from the building is similar, and that's the best way for the construction one, because it's easy for structural calculation. Have the load coming and transfer the shear wall, transfer the load from the top to the foundation. So that's why balance in design is very good point. When they start to design, balance could be symmetrics or asymmetrics, as long as the building is spread for the maintenance of the equilibrium. And we have another one, like they call that a symmetric balance, radial balance, and overall balance. So each of them have different phase. However, asymmetric balance they produce for informal, for attention attraction. Radial balance they arrange for the center elements, and overall is the mosaic from the balance which arrive from too many elements to this can noisy and quiet. So this is one example from you can see balance from design. So this is the balance in design. You can see that it is the church, and you can see both sides it's similar. It's very balanced in the center. So this is a lot of the architect they like to use this one in design. This one is not the balance, the left one, but the right one. In the other side, you can see that it's look like the curve combined together, so it's not the balance in design. The contrast is the main point in design. A lot of the young architects they like to use for the contrast in design. They use the contrast like the important element when they create from the visual variety, assignment, and interest for the building. So the contrast can be recognized in the building when two adjacent parts are very different from one another. So light, shade, shadow of the mask also create for the contrast one. You can use the light, you can use the shade of the shadow to share with the create for the contrast one. So the space you also try to do for far, near, or 2D or 3D, the position can you change for the left and the right when you want to do the contrast in the design. Isolate for the group, the center, and the form can be simple, can be complex, can be whole, can be broken part, something like that. So it is the contrast element, contrast principle in design. About the direction, you can do for the movement, the stability. About the structure, you can do for the mechanical, the hand draw, organize. About the size, you can do the large, the small. When you want to, when you want to create for the contrast one, you can do deep, the shadow, the fat, the thing. In the color, you can use the grayscale, black, white, light, dark to share with the contrast principle in design. The texture, you can use the fire, the coarse, the smooth, the rough, or the sharp, or the dull. Gravity, you can use stable, unstable, light or heavy. Density, you can use for thick, thin, liquid, solid, many more. So that's why in the contrast one, you can create many different ways for the contrast in design. This is some examples, so you can see the balance in the contrast, in the design one. And this one show you the contrast one. You see that's one building, but on the bottom one you can see it's very old design, but on the top one very updates technology design. Same thing with the Louvre museum in France. You see in the back side it's so old building. In the front side with diagonal or the class building, this one did the people right here. So you can see that they combine between the contrast building type together, very old one and very modern one. Same thing with this one. So you can see a new and old building in the same location. The theme variation is one of another basic in design. You can thinking about the design in variation. You define for a dominant feature, light, shape, color, or a variation on the change dominant elements. So many different ones. So you can use the scale on the city. You can see you can create a theme to the various building of the area. That is the theme in variation, and that's also is the principle in design. More examples, so you can see from the principle in design. This is the church with very active diagonal. This is interesting projects in Missouri, Kansas Public Library. You look at the street one, in front of the building, they design look like the bookshelf in the library. This is one residential. They use the curved one around the house, the entrance. Emphasis and dominance is another principle of design, and the methods. So emphasis and dominance is important principle of design. They relate with the visual weight of the architect's composition. Emphasize refer to the objects and elements with the first catch in the attention of the viewer. One architect, they need to create area of emphasis, the focal point. This is considered for visual and starting point from the eye will be begin for the journal of recognizing for the whole architectural works. How about the method? We have perspective, we have similarity, we have continuation, and we have repetition. To share the methods like the element from the design one. This is example from the element from design. And you see this is the museum in Minnesota. They use the different shape combined together for whole unit on the design. Another design from this one is from Japan. Is it the temple? And the other one, this is they do by hand, is on the Yemen. And this is the mountain, and they try to create the building inside the mountain one. So the rock, the stone, everything they combine and they design for this house. It's elegant. Rim alternating is also the basic for the unity and have to keep the interest. Architects, they have to govern the relationship between the elements of design in one building or one project. A building is not only the structure composed of repeat elements, like shape, texture, but also used for elements according to the employment of the principle of design that does exist in the architecture design. We talk a little bit about the special relationship in design. The first one is the people relationship. It's easy to get in the architect with the client, owner, landlord, tenants, and government. Architect with the engineer, the consultant contractor, or architect with the public people, city, agency, county, and state. Time relationship can be depend on the point, duration, from history, from design. Design relationship is unlimited, and it update, it's variable, diverse, and many design are priceless, would make people over to the work for example, Golden Gate, or Eiffel Tower, or Westminster Bridge, etc. This is some kind of priceless in design, and all of the people of the world, they know that because many people contribute for that one, and it stay for long or forever. I give you more example so you can see few of the projects they keep long ago, and right now even they during the construction, but the visitor can stop by, and they don't want to destroy that because it's remain from the historic value. Many interesting projects in Europe, in Middle East, and US. This is the Arcade and Golden Gate. Many historic projects is make a lot of people remember forever, whole the world. In Light Tower, and this is a cheap one. This is the one is the Arcade, and if you look at the top, it looks like this. You can see whole view from the city around. Very interesting projects. Eiffel Tower in French, and Westminster Bridge, England. We also have the Ice House, Ice Hotel, and you look at on the house, and after that is the ice on the bed. Another interesting projects in China, in this one in Indonesia or Thailand, and this one interesting projects. You look at this, the building on the top from this one look like the mountain before, but now look at the water, it's make erosion, so now it's look like this. And when you want to travel there, you need to go by the Cap 12 like this. Interesting projects in the Poland, they call that the Crook House, and you look at this, look like the weir, but this is the real. Another one in Venezuela, from the building you can see that. And this is very interesting projects in Barcelona. If you look outside, it look like this in France from the building, but when you go to the top roof from the building, you can see like this. That had the yard in the center, and they have 17 rooms for total, and on of them on the top roof you can walk in there. On the top roof you can't walk in there, and they design very interesting, and you can go down here, and in the center they have many level up with the windows, look like the studio. Okay, so this is interesting projects. Okay, so finally I have 8 questions for you review. You need to answer and email to me by due date on the schedule or on the weekend. Okay, so I need to use this one to make it ready for you for the lecture chapter. If you have any question, email me and I will reply you soon. And you also need to check the email regular for make sure I have some announcement for you need to do for the course, the due date, and any announcement regarding with the class. And one more time, the lecture resource you can looking for from Canvas and look over from the files. The textbook like I present with you on the chapter 1 architects. And finally on my channel, Happy Life True Life YouTube and HE Capital. Thank you so much and see you next time.